Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And going in line with this week's message of pushing past our limits and doing things that challenge us every single day, today we're going to do that same. We're going to take that mentality into our shoulder day workout. Now, today we have a good bit of time. We're not really pressed for time, but with shoulders, you don't really need to do too much. We're going to be doing a lot of variations on lateral raises. We're going to work on our front delts, our laterals, our rear delts, and then from there we're going to do some presses. And then after that, we should have some pretty fried shoulders, and that should be the end of today's workout. And enough yapping, bro. Today's going to be a very good day. Let's go ahead and meet you on the inside. I'll see you in just a second.
Alright, what's going on, y'all? We're moving this to the first set on the shoulder day. We're going to be working on our front delt raises with the fucking curved bar. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this shit started. And for those of you that are having a hard time doing consistent things over a long period of time, you need to remember that greatness, the embers of greatness come out whenever you do something for a prolonged period of time without any actual satisfaction, well, without any actual instant results. So if you're having a hard time starting something, just keep in mind, over time, those small wins add up and build up, and then make you appear like an overnight success, because nothing happens overnight. But if you do things consistently over time, you will become successful. You want to make it statistically impossible to become a failure. But enough yapping. Let's get into this first set. Yeah, like right now I'm actually getting into something that's pretty new for me. It's something I've never done, and it's day trading. I've been an investor in the stock market for a span of about, let's say, 5 years. I started in 2020 and it's 2025, so it's been about 5 years. And honestly speaking, that's where the things of like little things of consistent behaviors make you a success over a long period of time. Because I am not a trader, I am an investor. I'm looking at becoming a trader with a small account, and I'm actually looking at people like TJR and people like that to help me figure out how to day trade. Because I've gotten to the point where I'm making enough money to where I can actually blow a band here, 2 bands, 3 bands here, to try to make myself a little bit more successful at a faster rate, you know? But right now, at the point in life that I'm at, in the stock market, I've been investing ever since 2020. I'm not really doing anything like big investments or anything like that. I'm doing investments of $20, $30, $40 per week into different stocks. I'm having an S&P 500. I buy Coca-Cola every week. I buy stocks like Bitcoin, like cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also XRP as of recently. And then also I have some funds going into the Gush S&P 500 fund, where it's basically like a 3 times leveraged fund. And from doing that, I have not been day trading. I have not been caring if the stock goes up, it goes down. I've just been consistently investing over that period of time. And my account has grown from nothing to 16,000 over the span of 5 years. And I've only invested close to maybe $11,000, $10,000. So I've made about $6,000 profit. And for me, that's impressive, because nothing that I would have put my money in would have yielded me another extra $5,000. Not putting it in a savings account, not putting it in a CD or anything like that, you know? So doing that has actually helped me build over time. But the issue with that is actually that, well, there's no issue with that. It's just you have to be patient. And right now, I want to do a little bit of both. I want to be patient, but also want to be aggressive in building my wealth. And now, granted, I do run a business, but I'm not the owner of the business. So by running a business versus owning the business, you're making 2 different levels of money. And right now, with running the business, I am living a very comfortable life. But I would want to not live comfortably. I would actually like to live the so-called American dream, because right now it's actually hard to buy a house. It's hard to provide your family with a good future, because I manage a business out in Macon, so I talk to a lot of people who aren't in a very well financial position, you know? A lot of people who are on like Section 8, food stamps and things of that nature. And a lot of people are stressing out. because they haven't done any work the past 5 years to actually build up their reserves. So like right now, when they lose their food stamps, when they lose their things because of the government shutting down, they don't know what they're going to do, you know? Luckily, all of my employees, some of my employees are on food stamps, you know, because I have a lot of kids or whatever. But luckily, none of my employees are in that position. Everyone has put in the work to take care of themselves. Like one of my employees, she said, I don't care what happens, and like I'm not gonna let my kids happen no matter what I have to do. You know, I'm not gonna let my kids starve no matter what I have to do. And you have to take that mentality into everything. You want to make it to where you, no matter what comes across your path, you will not, you know, be affected by anything in the economy or anything like that, you know? But with day trading, I've actually not been a fan of day trading because of the fact that people like Dave Ramsey, even people like Alex Hormozi don't recommend that shit, because they say that if you're day trading, you're at the end of the day just gambling. You don't really know where the market's going to go. And even leaders such as Warren Buffett, they admit they don't know where the market's going to go. So there's no point in day trading. But if you have some money to spend and you don't really care about losing the money, then you can go ahead and throw that in there and see where it goes. Like right now, I'm going through mountains and mountains of research just to figure out how to go ahead and day trade in a way that won't hurt me, if that makes sense to you, huh? But honestly speaking, even though I won't be affected by losing that money if it does go to shit, I am still scared of putting the money in and not seeing a return. Because at the end of the day, I'm probably one of the most frugal people you'll ever meet. I don't like spending money if I don't like getting extra add-ons for my Chipotle bowls or anything of that nature, things that add to the cost. I try to limit that because I actually want to take the difference and invest it or save it, because you never know. You never know. I know a lot of y'all say, hey, I'm young, I want to live life, I don't want to have to worry about all these things. That's cool and all, but at the end of the day, if a market recession happens like the one we're in right now, and it's hard to get a job, it's hard to keep a job, and it's hard to make good money, you're going to be in a bad position if you save nothing, you know? But I'm going to take this call, and I'll bring it right back in for the second set. Straight into the second set. And honestly, y'all, I wish I had some more advice to give you out there, but I feel like today I'm not really in a yapping mood. I'm in a mood to get the work done. That way I can go ahead and get the day started. Let me go ahead and up the weight. Alright, so moving into this third set. And you know what? Honestly speaking, bro, I love days like this. Days where I'm not really feeling it, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get here every single day and feel like you want to fucking work out. So if you're able to push past your limits on the days that you don't want to, the days that you have fucking energy, you're going to come in here and just absolutely murder your fucking workouts. And that's just not with life. If you can show up to work when you don't want to fucking work and still perform at the same level as if you were motivated, you're going to outperform every fucking body around you. And then at the end of the day, life is just a survival of the fittest type of game. If you have a weak mentality, you'll have a weak life. You know that saying, fucking weak men create easy times create weak men, and then weak men create hard times, so on and so forth. Right now we are in a hard situation, but that's amazing, because that's going to give you the opportunity to become a very strengthened individual, both physically and mentally, especially because you can only do so much if you're physically strong, but if you're mentally strong, you can do just about any goddamn thing. Just look at David Goggins. That motherfucker's not the biggest guy, but he does shit that I would never dare to do. So let's push with that mentality in mind. Push forward no matter how you fucking feel. Motivation, no motivation, it doesn't fucking matter. Just quit being a bitch and come on. Now you have to realize, if you have a hard time staying motivated, you're going to have a hard time having a good life. Because for those of y'all that are having a hard time finding motivation, I recommend you develop a Stoic philosophy. Quit worrying about how you're doing mentally and start worrying about where you're heading to. Because oftentimes men, I can't really speak to the woman experience because I'm not a woman, but oftentimes men find a fulfillment from moving towards something, moving towards a purpose. They say if you're not moving, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're actually dying. Even if you stay the same, If you're not growing by staying the same, that's still dying. And then at the end of the day, for us men, become a certain satisfaction with growing, moving towards our ambitions, and getting 1% better day by day. So don't feel comfortable staying exactly the same way. Because if you stay the same way you were yesterday, you're going to go down and down and down, and eventually you're going to die off. And then, yeah. And especially if you have people depending on you to move forward and become a better man, become a better person all around, you cannot hold yourself back. Because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, the thing that holds us back is our own limiting mentality. If we're able to go ahead and expand our horizons and break our mental blocks, life is going to be so much easier. We're not going to have to worry about half the shit that goes on in the world, you know? Especially when half the shit in the world you cannot control. You can't control the economy, you can't control jobs, you can't control any of that. But what you can control is your level of work ethic, your level of work. That's what you can control, the hours you put in. Because the more you put in, the more you get out. Fucking simple. So even if you feel like you had a disadvantage in life, amazing. If you feel like you are being characterized a certain kind of way because of skin tone, because of socio-economical status, amazing. Use that as a fucking, as a chip on your shoulder to prove every fucking body wrong. You don't have to be a fucking blue collar or white collar in order to be successful. You can come from the lowest of the low and build yourself up, because this is fucking America, brother. Especially if you're in the United States, you're in one of the best places in the whole entire world where you can become more than you are. You can develop your station to be better than what you currently are. So don't be satisfied with what you currently have if you're not happy with your life. Alright, y'all. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. Fourth set. And right here, we're going to call it on 4 steps. We're going to go add some other workouts in here. We're going to keep the sets at a 4x10 on just about everything. Let's keep it going, yo. Alright, y'all. Go ahead and cut it here. And I'll pull it back in when we get to the next workout. Alright, so let's go ahead and move into the first set of the lateral dumbbell raises. And now we're going to be doing 4 sets of 10 using progressive overload to try to stimulate the muscle of pro. So let's keep it going, y'all. You know what's funny? This is actually the first time I've ever taken an L, to the point where I've never made this mistake. This is the first time I've ever brought a watch into the gym. And I'm like, bro, I felt that bitch on my arm and I didn't feel like walking back out to the whip to go ahead and leave it in there. I was like, fuck it, bro. We're gonna keep it flowing, bro. Just put it in my pocket. Alright, so let's go ahead and move into the second set. Alright, let's switch up the angle so we can get a little bit better. I actually quite like that angle, but let's see how we can make that work. Okay. Alright. I'm feeling it. Feeling the energy flowing. I'm feeling pretty good. But honestly, I don't really like that angle. Fuck it. We'll just make do with what we had. Okay. Alright, so let's move into the second set. We already changed out the weights from 15s to 20s. And we're going to go 25 to 30s or 35, depending on how strong our delts feel. Keep in mind, with this one, you have to be careful, because 15 to 20 is a big jump. It might not seem like it, but it is. Ooh, sure. Alright. I'm gonna take a small break off camera. We're gonna go ahead and move up to 25, and I'll bring it right back in when we finish out. Alright, moving into the third set, and as you progress, as you progress from the first to the fourth set, you start getting a higher level of fatigue. You want to try to keep the form consistent. And actually, something Sam Sulek does, which is a pretty interesting style of working out, and I actually I'm fucking with it because it's more stimulus oriented. Instead of going on light and building up gradually, because you shrink declines once you get to the top of the sets, it starts, declining off, tapering off. He warms up, gets his shit limber, and then he does the heaviest weight that he can possibly do, and then he works his way down instead of working his way up. So that's actually a pretty interesting style. We might end up trying that going into tomorrow's workout. But granted, the guy's a freak. I bench at like 4 or 5 plates, you know what I mean? And I'm not at that level yet. I'm barely at 3. So, depending on the day, I can't even do 3 plates. So, enough yapping, bro. Let's go ahead and get this third set going. Oosh. Damn. Alright, y'all. Move into the 30s. I feel like with my shoulder raise, I'm still not on respectable weights yet, man. I be saying some motherfuckers do delt raises for fucking lateral raises for fucking 45s, 50s. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But alright, so I'm gonna take about like 2 minutes off camera and I'll bring it right back in. I'm moving straight into the fucking fourth set now. Honestly speaking, I'm starting to feel it in my shoulders. And after this, we're going to be doing a different version of my rear delt trainings. And instead of doing the machine that's so close together, I tried the other day, just for shits and giggles, the ones that are more farther apart. And the way that it actually pulls you, like that, it's fucking insane. Because the other one, it doesn't really pull you, it just like to there, because of how close the machines are. But the other one goes like that. So you really have to fucking fight against it in order to get that shit to go. The resistance is fucking phenomenal, brother. And besides, I feel like that machine versus that machine is a little bit different. I feel like the resistance is more of like, I can't explain it, but I feel like the resistance is different, and I don't really like the other one. So let's go ahead and get into the 30s. Colts. Alright, again, very sloppy towards the end, which is a sign that the fucking workout is working. Alright, that's all I got, y'all. We're going to do about 3 more workouts. We're going to do the rear delt work. After the rear delt work, we're going to go ahead and move into the front bicep raises. We'll work up more on the front delts because, honestly speaking, from working out, I feel like my rear delts are actually like semi-solid. My front delts are pew. You know what I mean? Fucking puny. So let's go ahead and get into the next workout. I'll see y'all when we move the stations. Alright, so there we go. We're cooking now. And now keep in mind, that's why I gave y'all a little bit of a visual on these type of machines. To get it set up, you don't want to have it here because I personally grab it from right here. But if I grab it from here, when I let it go, it's going to crush my fingers. So what you want to do is you want to take the weight off, pull it up a little bit, and then put it in. That gives us some slack. So that way when you let it go, it's not crushing your fingers, you know what I mean? And you want to do that with both sides. That way you don't fucking take L's. Let's see. I think right here should be cool. Yeah, more or less. We'll fix it if we need to. Alright, and now look. Yeah, I might need to fix it a little bit. Semi. But look. Yeah. crossover is crazy. And the way it fucking pulls on you, I just really love that feeling, bro. Oh, shit. Ooh. And then once you're tired, uncross that motherfucker. Solid, bro. Personally, I really like this style of working out. And then the way that just hits up your back though, which I need to develop more anyways, but it's nice, bro. Alright, let me take a little break off the camera, and then I'll bring it right back in once we're finished. Alright, so we're running out of storage on the camera, so we're going to go ahead and only record 2 sets of this, and then after that we're going to switch to front delt raises, and then after that we're going to do some face pulls, and then we're going to call it there. Well, actually, let's do the front ones with the cable attachment, with a rope attachment. After that we're going to do some presses, and we're going to call it there. Oosh. Alright, so let's go ahead and up the weight. I'm gonna do like three sets more off the camera, and then I'm gonna bring y'all in once we hit the next workout. Alright, so I went ahead and did 4 sets off camera because I don't have no time left on this camera to go ahead and record. I'm only gonna be doing 1 recorded set so we can hit the pose down at the end, and that's it. So I ended up doing 2 sets of front delt raises with the cable attachment, bringing it from my leg with the machine behind me going like this, and then I did 2 sets of face pulls going like that. So we're only gonna record 1 set of this. We're gonna do a total of 2 or 3 sets, but I'm only gonna record 1. That way I can go ahead and have enough storage to hit the pose down, because brother, the fucking shoulders are feeling phenomenal right now. This shit's killer. All right, so let's go ahead and record this 1 set. Alright, so that's what I'm going to record. I'm going to hit 2 more sets, and then I'll see y'all in the pose now. Alright, y'all, so that's the end of today's workout. I had a fucking amazing time doing fucking, the shoulder press is phenomenal fucking movement. But yeah, let's keep this shit going. Place the pose on after an amazing fucking shoulder day. You know, for the first time in a fucking week, I wasn't rushed, so I actually enjoyed my time. The only limitation now was actually storage. We're going to buy another SD card, so that's never another issue. Nice. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, amazing fucking shoulder day. Let's get a fucking double by. Ooh. And the double butt is important because the shoulder, the top of the shoulder comes out from the top. Fucking phenomenal. But that's all I got, y'all. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and like, subscribe, and go ahead and turn on the notification bell so you can see every video I have coming out every other day. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. Peace.